Khloe Kardashian described it as difficult to be overseen by her mother, Kris Jenner. Hi, before we continue, please subscribe to the channel for all Kardashians news and update. Khloe Kardashian recently opened up about something she said was very difficult for her and her sister Kourtney in the early days of their careers. She said it was not easy at all to be managed by their mother, Kris Jenner. The two sisters, Khloe and Kourtney, didn't always agree with how their mom tried to take charge of their work lives when they were just starting to become famous. Even though many people might think it would be great to have a mother who is also your manager, for them, it wasn't that simple. Everything began when the family started their journey on the reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which made them household names. But before the show even started in 2007, Khloe said she and Kourtney didn't want to be a part of it. They weren't interested in being on television and didn't like the idea of their mom trying to make them do it. According to Khloe, their mother Kris and their sister Kim were the ones who were excited about doing the show, but she and Kourtney weren't feeling the same way. They didn't like being told what to do, especially by their mom. Kris Jenner recently appeared as a guest on Khloe's podcast called Khloe in Wonderland, and during the chat, Khloe shared how she remembered those early days. She said that in the beginning, the whole thing was very tough, especially for her and Kourtney. When Kris tried to manage them, they felt like she was being too controlling. Khloe said they felt like, "You're not going to boss us around. We don't even want to do this." That was their attitude when the idea of the show first came up. Kris and Kim were very excited and told them that they had to be on the show, but Khloe and Kourtney didn't feel the same way at all. Kris admitted that she had pushed her daughters into doing the show. According to Khloe, it kind of just happened. It was not a big plan at first. They were told it was only going to be one season, which made it seem easier. But as time went on, everything started to change. The show took off, and suddenly, Kris was not just their mom anymore, she was now also their manager. That new role brought a lot of confusion and stress into their relationship. Khloe explained that during those first few years, it was really hard to understand the difference between Kris as a mom and Kris as a manager. When her mom told her what to do, where to go, or how to act, she didn't always take it well. She felt like her mom was trying to control her, not in a helpful way, but in a way that felt too bossy. She said she had respect for her mom, of course, but she didn't feel like her mom should be acting like her boss. That created a lot of tension. Kim and Kris, on the other hand, always had a strong bond when it came to business. They worked well together and seemed to understand each other. But for Khloe, it was much harder to accept. Khloe, who is now a mother to two young children, True and Tatum, whom she shares with her former partner Tristan Thompson, said that things started to get better between her and Kris after she had kids. She realized she needed to separate the two roles her mom had. She began to see her mother as two different people, one as her loving mom, and the other as her business manager. That shift in thinking helped improve their relationship. Khloe said that once she had children, their bond became easier and more natural. It wasn't that the relationship was bad before, but it was the mix of mom and manager that had made it complicated. She also talked about how she would sometimes try to speak with her mom about work, but Kris would react strongly or get too serious. Other times, Kris would bring up work things when Khloe just wanted to enjoy dinner or spend time with family. That made things even more confusing and stressful. Kris agreed that they had to go through a process of figuring it all out. It wasn't easy, but they managed to get through it by working on their communication and understanding. Khloe remembered many times when she didn't know when the work talk would stop. It felt like work was being talked about all the time, and that was hard for her. She needed to learn when it was time to be in work mode and when it was time to just be a daughter talking to her mom. That line was not always clear, and it caused a lot of problems in the beginning. Kris said she understood and agreed that it had been a tough change. They both knew the shift from being just family to being family and co-workers at the same time was a big one. Khloe made it clear that she never hated her mother or anything like that. She always loved her and respected her. But at the same time, She didn't want her mom telling her what to do in a way that felt like she was being controlled. That was why the start of their career path was so rough. She said it took her a while to fully accept that Kris was not only trying to help her family grow in fame and success but was also taking on the tough job of managing everyone's business and public image. Even though Kris was trying to do what she thought was best, Khloe felt like she didn't want someone in her family to also be the one giving her orders. She didn't feel comfortable with that at first. She said it took time and a lot of learning to get used to it. As she matured and had her own children, she began to understand things from her mother's point of view a bit better. That made a huge difference in their relationship. Khloe shared that the reason things became easier over time was because she learned how to keep her personal feelings separate from her work decisions. She had to make peace with the fact that her mom could love her deeply while also being tough in business. That was not something she knew how to accept in the beginning, but now she sees it more clearly. As she's grown, she's realized that having someone so close to you who also cares about your career is not such a bad thing, as long as you set the right boundaries. Kris, on her part, also grew during this time. She began to understand that she needed to balance her roles more carefully too. If she pushed too hard as a manager, it hurt her relationship as a mother. So, she had to learn when to step back and just be a parent. That learning process was not easy for either of them. But over the years, with a lot of patience, they got better at it. Khloe said she's now in a place where she feels good about the way things are. She feels more in control and more at peace with her mother's role in her career. She said she knows now that Kris has always wanted the best for her and her siblings. But when you're younger, it's not always easy to see that clearly. You just want to do things your own way. That's why she and Kourtney were so unsure and unwilling at the beginning. Kris has always been known for being strong in business and taking big steps to build her family's empire. She's been called a smart businesswoman by many people in the industry. But to her children, she's still their mother first. That's why the roles can sometimes get mixed up. What seems like a good business idea to Kris might feel like pressure to one of her kids. That difference in view made things tense early on. Khloe also remembered moments when she just wanted to be treated like a daughter, not a business project. There were days when all she needed was comfort, love, and someone to listen. But instead, she got schedules, media plans, and meetings. That's not something a young adult always knows how to handle, especially when it's coming from your mom. It took years for her to adjust and accept that Kris was doing what she thought was right. Now, things have changed. Khloe feels much better about where they are. She sees her mom as someone who was trying to help, even if her way of doing it felt too strong at times. Thanks for watching. Please do well to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Kardashian updates.